This is the scariest road in America. Most people get freaked out by the woods. For me, it's roads. I mean, there's just something about a lonely, dark road that sends shivers down my spine. This one may just be the worst. Most people think the scariest roads are the ones filled with sharp turns and steep hills. You know, the kind where you feel like at any moment you might lose control and crash. Well, this one has those things. But trust me, it's not what makes this road scary. This is Taylor Swift's favorite road. Wait, what? Yeah. Well, I guess she likes to take drives down here. I don't know why. It's probably not the most scenic route. I mean, yeah, sure, you get some pretty views of the forest every once in a while, but mostly it's just trees and rocks and that same damn sign warning you that you're entering the state game lands. What? What's the big deal? She also gets points off for confusing her fans. I mean, when Taylor sings about taking a drive down a certain road, she's really talking about this road. So all of her Swiftie fans, you know, they hear that song, they want to take a drive down this road, but then they can't find it. And then they realize that she's messing with them. You know, you can't exactly blame her. This is a very secluded road. I mean, Google Maps doesn't even have it. I only found it by accident, and I had to pass through 3 different towns and a bunch of cornfields to get here. I asked a local if she knew how to get here, and she literally looked at me like I had grown a second head. So yeah, I'm guessing Taylor Swift knows something that we don't. Or maybe she just likes torturing her fans. Either way, I don't recommend you take a drive down here anytime soon. There are rumors that Taylor Swift haunts these roads, and she doesn't look too friendly. Oh well, then let's keep going. A story from the town of Poughkeepsie, New York. The town lies along the Hudson River about 2 hours north of New York City. Back in 1849, a stagecoach was driving down the river road when suddenly it overturned. 4 passengers died. Locals blamed the accident on the Devil's Path, a Native American burial ground near the road. People stopped traveling on the road at night. The fear was that if they passed through the Devil's Path at night, the devil would claim their souls. Years later, travelers started to see a phantom coach carrying ghostly passengers travel down the road at night. They also heard the screams of the 4 victims being dragged to the burial ground. Naturally, the locals decided the only way to put a stop to this was to build a church on the river road, which worked for about a decade. Then the ghost coach started rolling again. In 1937, the ghost was captured. The New York Times reported the local undertaker, Frank D. Bush, drove his hearse down the river road at night to confront the specter. He returned, shaken, saying the apparition vanished before he could reach it. He said he felt compelled to follow it, adding, quote, "I went on and on. Finally, I saw the lights and I walked right into the midst of them. One minute I was there and the next I couldn't see anything." Today, travelers still report seeing the ghost coach and hearing the screams of its passengers. So remember that time Taylor Swift was rumored to have been abducted while driving on a country road? Well, this is the exact road everyone thought she was talking about, especially because the line in her song goes, quote, "Long live the walls we crashed through." I mean, this isn't exactly the kind of wall you could crash through. However, in the music video, it looks like she and her friends totally do crash through a stone wall and end up in a field. We'll never know for sure, though, because after the video came out, Taylor Swift released a statement saying that the song and the video aren't based on any real events, which is good news for her. But it leaves us with a question. If it's not her story, then whose story is it? Well, apparently, this road has been cursed ever since 1926, when a group of bootleg rum runners used it as a shortcut during Prohibition. The road had been unpaved and full of potholes, but they used it anyway. One night, however, their car broke down, and because they were driving illegally, they didn't want to flag anyone down for help. Instead, they decided to push the car. But this was a mistake. As they were pushing the car down the road, they rolled away. The car flew off the road and landed 30 feet below. 5 of the 7 men inside the car died. The surviving 2 somehow managed to climb out, but they suffered serious injuries. To this day, locals say that the spirits of the dead rum runners haunt the road. Even more unsettling, the road is unpaved today just like it was back in 1926. Now you know why cars sometimes break down on it. I'm going to tell you a story about a road. It's a road haunted by the spirit of a woman who froze to death on it. Let's talk about the history of the road first, shall we? It's a dirt road in the small town of Stewartstown, New Hampshire. Back in 1833, a man named John Parker built the dirt road to connect Stewartstown to the rest of Coos County. These days, it's better known as Parker's Road. And while the locals consider it a shortcut, it's rarely used because, well, it's spooky as hell. On March 15, 1838, a woman named Mary Sleeper was walking on Parker's Road. She was on her way home from visiting her husband, who was working on a dam nearby. Mary had been separated from her husband for several months, and she was freezing and exhausted by the time she reached the road. She needed shelter, but the closest cabin was 2 miles away. It was too far for her to walk, and then she noticed a nearby ledge that looked like it could shield her from the wind. She curled up on the ledge and fell asleep. Unfortunately, the ledge offered little protection. By morning, Mary was dead. The temperature had dropped to negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Her body was found the next day by a passing hunter, and it was so frozen that he had to cut her clothes off. They buried her on the spot. A few years later, a traveler named Jacob Doughton wrote in his journal that Mary's ghost could often be seen wandering the road. He said her ghost was always accompanied by a dog. In 1903, a local newspaper recounted a story from a man who encountered her ghost. He says he was driving home late one night when he saw a woman in white walking toward his carriage. He stopped and asked her where she wanted to go. She told him to drive her to the corner by the ledge. Then he heard chains dragging metal moans. Apparently, the ghost only appears to those who are about to die. And if you're the one driving the carriage, well, you've got company. As the sun sets over the Golden Gate Bridge, thousands of cars trudge across it. It's the busiest bridge in America. Millions of vehicles cross it each year. But at night, it becomes less of a busy thoroughfare and more of a graveyard. Vehicles pile up on the bridge, engines sputtering, brakes smoking, horns blaring. Sometimes the cars even burst into flames. Yep, this is a regular occurrence on the Golden Gate Bridge at night. Thousands of drivers have come to a screeching halt on the span and had to be towed away. So what's causing all these wrecks, fires, and breakdowns? Local legend blames it on the ghost of a former worker named Mary. In 1937, Mary was working as a rivet counter on the Golden Gate Bridge project. Rivet counters inspected each rivet during construction. Their job was incredibly dangerous. Many of them fell to their deaths, so it's unsurprising that many of the workers drank heavily. One night, Mary's boyfriend Joe called her over to the bar at the Presidio of San Francisco. He'd won enough money for a drink and he wanted to celebrate. Mary joined him, but she was already quite drunk. After a few drinks, Joe left Mary and went back to work. Mary stayed at the bar and drank even more. Later that night, she climbed over the railing of the bridge and fell to her death. Since then, people have reported seeing her ghost wandering around the bridge at night. Some even claim she appears in photographs. Apparently, she wants to find the guy who replaced her at work.